Eine Sodamaschine. Noch mehr Reviews. Aber die dunkle Seite der Reviews.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Bei Steam Reviews wäre ich mir da nicht so sicher. Und es sind sehr, sehr, sehr viele. Das ist ein Daumen hoch. Not recommended. Nein.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Ich liebe den Erzähler. Es ist einfach so gut. Eieiei, aber ja, das ist die Welt der Steam-Reviews. Aber egal, was man macht, man muss auch damit rechnen können, dass es negativ aufgefasst wird von manchen Leuten. Man kann es halt nicht allen recht machen. Damit muss man auch umgehen können. Da liegen noch mehr Negativ-Reviews. Nein! Deswegen regnet es hier auch. Das sind die Tränen des Erzählers wahrscheinlich.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Nein, nicht jedes Spiel ist für jeden nudelscharf. War halt nicht das perfekte Spiel für nudelscharf. Deswegen muss die Person halt einfach ein anderes Spiel spielen. Wenn es ihm nicht gefallen hat. Steht ja jeder auf was anderes. Ist ja nicht, dass das Spiel als solches schlecht ist. Mir gefällt's, ich mag's. Oha, was kommt jetzt noch? Liegt schon im Wasser.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Auch übrigens diese Person, die Rezension da geschrieben hatte, die hatte fast 10 Stunden Spielzeit. Das muss man in dem Spiel auch erstmal hinkriegen. Es ist ja nicht gar so lang. Auch wenn man die verschiedenen Endings durchprobiert und so. Auf 10 Stunden zu kommen, ist schon heftig. Und dann trotzdem eine negative Review zu schreiben, dann spielst halt nicht so lang.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
Stimmt.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're
Gott, die
back.
Pflanze ist
Oh, my
tot.
goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with.
Oh.
And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything.
Macht schon ein bisschen Spaß, ne?
Hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart.
Hat er aufgegeben? Ich glaube, der Erzähler hat keine Lust mehr. Ups. Ja, ne, jetzt hab ich wenigstens ein bisschen Zeit hier zu reden. Ich komme ja hier zu nix, wenn hier Fortner erzählt wird. Ich mag aber auch das Konzept, dass einfach der Hauptcharakter, wenn man skippt, in der Zeit eingefroren bleibt, bis alle mit dem Reden fertig sind. Finde ich gut, aber... vielleicht kann ich ja lang genug skippen, dass das ganze Gebäude einfach zusammenfällt und dann haben wir hier einen Weg raus oder so. Ich mach mal weiter. Der Rauchmelder piept. Warum? Hier ist kein Rauch. ich irgendwas gehört gerade? Ist da eine Tür da hinten? Nee. Ja gut, ich skippe nochmal, dass der Rauchmelder hoffentlich aufhört. Die Uhr ist auch schon von der Wand gefallen, die hat auch aufgegeben.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for...
Irgendwann müssen wir hier mal wieder rauskommen, hoffe ich. Aber ey, es ist so wahr einfach. Es ist so wahr. Ich meine, was haben wir denn im Internet, außer dass sich Leute, vor allem in verschiedenen Fandoms, einfach unendlich darüber aufregen, dass ihre Ideen und ihre Sichtweisen nicht eingebaut werden. Sei es jetzt in Computerspielen, in Serien, in Filmen sogar. Einfach nur, weil die das wollen. Und dann fühlen die sich beleidigt, wenn das nicht gemacht wird, als ob sie überhaupt von Anfang an ein Recht darauf gehabt hätten, dass es eingebaut wird. Es ist aber ja nur ein Medium, was du konsumierst. Es ist ja von jemand anderem gemacht, der eine Vision oder eine Idee davon hat, was er machen will, und dann macht er das halt. So wie diese Person das möchte. Klar, Spielerfeedback kann auch wichtig sein. Natürlich. Aber Feedback heißt nicht, dass man es so machen muss. Und sich dann drüber aufzuregen und negative Rezensionen zu schreiben, nur weil man eingeschnappt ist nicht so der Weg to go, ne? Aber das merkt man in Rezensionen dann meistens auch an. So, wie kommen wir denn hier jetzt irgendwann mal raus? Wieder.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Oh je, der hat auch schon keinen Bock mehr. Ja, ich gucke einfach immer noch mal hinter das Ding hier, nicht, dass sich plötzlich eine Tür materialisiert aus dem Nichts. Irgendwie regnet es hier schon rein. Ich glaube, das Gebäude wird echt langsam morsch, ne? Kann das sein? Hinten regnet es schon rein. Skippen einfach mal weiter. Ja, ich hab's doch gesagt, wir warten hier einfach so lange, bis das ganze Gebäude zusammenbricht. Und ich meine, anscheinend, wenn wir hier in der Zeit eingefroren werden, weil wir weiter skippen, scheint ja auch für unseren Körper die Zeit nicht weiterzugehen. Das heißt, wir müssen nicht essen, wir müssen nicht aufs Klo. Wir sterben anscheinend auch nicht. Ja, immerhin ist schon mal schöneres Wetter. Leiter ist umgefallen. Ja, wir skippen einfach mal weiter. Irgendwann sind wir in der zukünftigen Zukunft angekommen. Vielleicht ist auch die Sonne und die Erde explodiert. Schön. Parne und Flechten. Ja, nice hier. Kriegen wir auch noch irgendwelche Tiere gleich? Nee, einfach alles wieder kompostiert. Welche gruseligen Geräusche. Noch gruseligere Geräusche. Wie, es gibt hier plötzlich irgendwelche Jumpscares. Oh, der Knopf ist umgefallen. Der ganze Raum ist schief. Und hier ist offen. Die Welt hat sich in eine Wüste verwandelt. Schön. Bisschen warm hier. Geh einfach mal los. Geh mal nach. Was ist das? Kann nicht sagen, ob die Sonne gerade steigt oder sinkt. Keine Ahnung, in welche Windrichtung ich gehe. In welche Richtung überhaupt. Der Horizont flimmert. Ah. Oh hey, wir haben es geschafft. Wir sind wieder da. War das jetzt der ganze Bonus-Content? Ich meine, er war ja, also, sehr meta, ne? Beschwere ich mich nicht. Ich fand's geil, ne? Ich weiß nicht, was ich erwartet habe. Das jedenfalls nicht. Aber ich beschwere mich auch nicht. Nun gut, wir haben hier auch noch einiges zu tun.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ja, gehen wir doch mal wieder zum Meeting Room, dass der arme Erzähler auch mal wieder ein bisschen Freude in seinem Leben hat. Dass der nicht immer nur enttäuscht sein muss. Oder wir gucken uns den New-Content an, der jetzt sogar ein eigenes Neonschild bekommen hat. Ja gut.
Oh good, you noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okay. Der Erzähler hat das Schild dahin gemacht. Dann ist es hoffentlich was Cooles. Der kennt sich aus.